All right, hopefully everyone is doing well out there. We are doing another off-season video. The Orlando Magic. You can go on ESPN.com. You can read all about the Orlando Magic. As I've said before, all the articles will be in one document. The 10 teams that are eliminated, that are not in the postseason, play-in, playoffs, teams that started their vacation on Monday, the day after the season, are on ESPN.com in one document. Shout out to the Orlando Magic PR department for highlighting the Magic's outlook yesterday. I appreciate that. And I don't throw bouquets out there or roses out there or compliments out there all the time, but as I opened it up, and there's no team in the Eastern Conference set up better than Orlando. And I honestly believe that, not just based on what they have going forward, but based off what they accomplished this year as far as winning 34 games. I wouldn't say they were competing for a play-in spot because they were kind of in that holding pattern there. But they have the foundation now to take that next step. They have that foundation. I think they're a little bit probably more advanced than maybe Oklahoma City was a year ago. But anything less than a spot in the play-in tournament next year, I'd be disappointed. I would look at it as a step back. So here we go about Orlando. The draft. They've got their own pick, which is the 6th pick in the draft. They've got that Bulls pick from the Vucevic trade. Remember, the first one turned into Franz Wagner. It will either be the 11th or 12th pick. Remember, it's top 4 protected. So if somehow that pick goes to Chicago the night of the lottery, then the Magic will have the Bulls 2024 first. That's protected at top 3. The likelihood is that they retain it, and they walk into the lottery with a team that basically brings back everyone and has 2 top 14 picks and a very good draft, and also the 36th pick in the draft. That's what you call loaded going into the offseason here. And it starts with the draft for Orlando here. Your foundation: Banchero, Wagner, Wendell Carter, I think we could put in that mix. They finally got good guard play this year with Markelle Fultz, Cole Anthony. Jalen Suggs, for me, is kind of still hit or miss 2 years in. I don't know if I've seen enough yet, but he's still young. And, I need another year of him to kind of put him as that, that foundation players. The interesting thing when we talk about Banchero is that this Orlando team is not dependent on him. I mean, you look at like our good friend Matt Williams in our stats department, who feeds me a lot of this information, that plus minus when he's off the court is better. So it's not like they are heavily dependent on Paolo. He's going to win Rookie of the Year. Him and Wagner are the third pair of teammates 21 or younger to average 18 points. I mean, that is what you call a good foundation. He's got he'll go into year 2. Franz will go into year 3 of their rookie scale contracts. And if you build your roster through the draft and you hit on draft picks, this is kind of what happens here. Cap space. Last year, Orlando decided basically to retain their own players. Mo Bamba, Bol, guys like that. Basically, they acted as a team over the cap, and that they can do the same direction this year. They could go out and create $30 million in cap space, but it comes at the expense of Gary Harris, who, for them, 43% from 3 this year, fills a role. I don't think he's the permanent starter. So if you're looking for an upgrade, it's probably at the shooting guard position. Then you've got team options on Michael Carter-Williams, Goga Badatza, Admiral Schofield, guys like that. The Harris contract becomes guaranteed on June 30th, so you'll have an idea. If that contract is guaranteed, then the likelihood is that Orlando probably goes into the offseason as a team operating over the cap, and they still have those their mid-level and their biannual exceptions. So there's the flexibility there to create room. They also have Markelle Fultz's contract, got $2 million guaranteed That is going to be guaranteed. They've got that Jonathan Isaac contract that's got $7.6 million. I'm not ready to bail yet out on Isaac. I know the injuries have been frustrating for Orlando fans, and I'm sure the injuries have been frustrating for Jonathan Isaac, just because his youth, his upside, when he's healthy, there's good things. The big thing is keeping him healthy. So unless you're going to go out and get a big fish and you need his room, I'm bringing him back. The contract the following year is non-guaranteed. I'm not doing anything with Isaac as far as from a cap flexibility. They're nowhere near the tax. They don't need to, these rookie extensions are not creeping up. You still have some time here. So I'm bringing Fultz back. I'm bringing Isaac back. I think the one thing you could do is you got to upgrade a little bit of the shooting guard position here. And I mentioned Gary Harris, who shot 43% here, and I would bring Harris back unless, of course, I need room. But who is kind of the guy moving forward as far as the full-time starter? Is it going to be somebody you find in the draft? Is it somebody you can find in free agency? That's kind of, if for a priority for me, that's the direction there. And that's, I guess we can go in the team needs section. You've got extension candidates. Markelle Fultz and Cole Anthony are extension eligible. Isaac's extension eligible. Chuma Okeke is extension eligible. I think the big thing for me with Fultz and Anthony, who both of them have had good years, is that how much do you value cap flexibility in the 2024 offseason? That's the year where you really could take advantage of the market, because let's say you win 44 games and you're 44 and 38. That could be that next leap. Of course, hey, everything can change, and we can say this about all these different teams here. Everything can change the night of the draft. If you jump into the top spot, of course, then what happens with Wendell Carter, right? Like all these different things. Maybe Victor's at the 4, Wendell's at the 5, right? What happens if you get the second pick? What do you do as a guy like Scoot Henderson? If you already have Cole Anthony and you've got Fultz and you've got Suggs and you've got a list of guards and everything. And we'll probably do another video in I guess after the lottery based on who gets number 1 and number 2 based on how it impacts the roster. But you have a chance at a top pick. You're going to probably have another lottery pick, and you've got the 36th pick, and you basically bring back everyone. I mean, the only guys who are, I'm just scrolling up here, the only guys who are free agents are Mo Wagner, Goga, Carter Williams, and Admiral Schofield have team options. That is it. As you can see behind me, you've got, 14 players earning between $2 to $17 million. I mean, that's what you call the resources to build a roster. That is loaded. When you have the draft, you've got future assets, you got all your ones, you got a Denver first, you got 12 twos, Paulo and Wagner as your foundation players. I mean, cap flexibility, you check the boxes off there. So that's the reason why I said Orlando. There's no team in the Eastern Conference set up better than Orlando. I'm sure people in Indiana are saying, wait a minute, we've got 5 draft picks. We've got Halliburton. I'm looking at the whole body of work here, or Indiana would probably come in a right behind them at number 2. So that is my take on the Orlando Magic. As I said, good things are coming in Orlando. You just got to be a little bit patient. Don't jump into the deep end quite yet. Let these guys continue to develop. But I really like where they are. I like where they're positioned. Remember, sustainable roster, right? You're going to hear me. You're going to be like, I'm going to get T-shirts printed up that says roster sustainability, where you don't want to be, and you Magic fans out there know this, you don't want to be the 8 seed 3 years in a row, right? That's not where you want to be. You could be the 8 seed next year, and then the 5th seed the following year, and then it's going to be like it's almost like what Cleveland is going through. Like Cleveland went from the play-in to the 4th seed, and then we're going to say, like, how do you get to Boston, Milwaukee, and Philadelphia territory, right? Orlando's not there yet. Let's get them in the play-in mix. Let them get the, playing for seeding in April here. But as I said, they've got the resources to keep on, there's no cap to the upside of this roster.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.